some fishermen, fishing starts in the spring and ends in the fall, especially if you live in the north. But for other fishermen, the winter months bring on a whole different type of activity called ice fishing. Ice fishing is an extremely popular sport for some fishermen, and the lakes are often more crowded with fishermen than in the summer. We will be joining up with professional fishing guide Russ Wells on Big Green Lake in central Wisconsin. In the summer months, we have fished with Russ for walleye on this lake, but today we'll be pursuing northern pike and whitefish. And we'll be getting some good tips on how to ice fish as well.
Well, we're going to be doing some tip-up fishing this morning.
Are we?
We're not on the ice yet this winter or not, but we got our tip-up set up out in this area here. And unfortunately, things have been a little bit slow. We had some cold weather, and we're just coming onto a warming trend now, and hopefully today's going to be the day these fish start picking up a little bit. But we also do some jigging inside our nice warm shack if you'd like to step in there.
Sure. Russ, what are we going to be looking for today?
Well, we're fishing basically northern right now. It's getting a little bit late for walleye fishing, but there's always a possibility of picking up a walleye too. We've been on the ice since about 5:30 this morning, and didn't happen to pick up a walleye, but that's the time of day when we usually do get them before the sun comes up.
How many feet are we?
This area here, where our depth's going to vary. We've got, right where we are now, about 22 feet, and we're working on type of a dip here where our tip-ups in here will vary from 16 feet, and they'll drop out to 28 feet quite quickly. And the fish this time of year have a tendency to be in the shallower water, but they want to be near the deep water, where the food is, and they can get out and get their food and get back up and be protected a little bit. So our depths will vary quite rapidly here. In front of the shack here at 30, 40 feet, we could be in 100 feet of water.
Oh, jeez.
So it drops off.
Well, let's stay on top of it. It's a little cool out here, but I know better that I know about these ice fish shanties.
Come on inside here and we'll get
a lot warmer in here, huh?
Sure.
Well, Russ, it's about 20 degrees outside, but inside these little shanties, it gets pretty darn warm, huh?
Guys gotta have them. It gets mighty cold sitting outside, but there's a good number of years the only way I fished was outside. But it's nice to have a friend who's got a nice warm shack.
That's for sure.
But for this inside fishing now, what we use is jigging Rapala. It's really quite basic fishing. It's just a matter of moving your rod up and down, but this is a number 9 jigging Rapala here. It's got a hook on both ends and a treble hook hanging off the bottom. And about 90% of the fish that we catch through the ice on a jigging Rapala will take this hook right here. And we do put a little bit of live bait on there. A nice Milwaukee shiner is about the best thing to have. And if I can dip one out of the bucket here. You take and just hook them through both lips pretty lightly. We want to keep that minnow alive on there, because that's kind of the fish attractor down there. Then it's just a matter of dropping it down the hole, and we want to get right down on the bottom and lift it about a foot off bottom. These fish, walleye in particular, are bottom huggers. They like to stay pretty close to the bottom, and so we find bottom here and just lift it up about that far. It's just a matter of up like that and back down. And what happens when you pull that line up like that, that Rapala will actually swim around. If you give it a motion like this, keep jigging it up and down like that, it'll actually swim right around the hole. It'll cover about a 4 or 5 foot diameter down below. But the best way to fish these is to give it a good jerk up like that and let it settle back down to the middle. Most of the time when you get a bite, it's just when that bait is starting to settle back down in the center of the hole again, and then you'll hit it. And this is really a lot of fun catching fish this way. When they hit, it's not as though they tear the rod out of your hand, but you feel a slack line all of a sudden, and you got to be real quick and set the hook on them. But it's this is the way to catch fish in the wintertime. Tip-up fishing is a whole different ball game, but this is the way we do get the majority of our walleyes out here at this particular time of the year.
It's a little bit like the walleye fishing was when we were out here in the summer. Well, you, in a sense, you were, when we were taking a line through the water, and then you felt the line go a little slack.
Exactly.
And you had to set the hook.
The only difference here is as soon as you feel that slack line, you got to give them, because they're going to hit that bottom minnow, and that's why you've got those hooks on both ends. If they're in the area, you're going to get them. If you give them any slack line, there's good, or if you feel the hit and you don't set it right away, there's a good possibility all they're going to do is get that minnow off the bottom. and they've got what they wanted, and we don't have what we wanted.
That's right.
It's the up and down motion. That's all you got to do. Like I said, we've been out here since 5:30 this morning pulling these up and down, and we haven't found a stupid one out here yet.
People think that you're out here really braving it in the cold, but then you gotta.
Well, I tell you, last week.
Hot stove and it's 70 degrees in here, and food and everything else, and
Sure.
you're all set.
Last week we were out here though in sub-zero weather, and that's when you brave the cold. You sit in a nice warm shack until the flag flies, and then you got to go out there and you take your gloves off.
Darn, the flag went off. Who's gonna go out?
We draw cards to see who's going to take the flag. It's you've got your gloves off in that sub-zero weather for a matter of seconds, and your hands are numb. And it can be quite painful to catch a fish on a tip-up when it's that cold. Today we've got, I'd say, close to 30 degrees out here. It's supposed to be quite warm today, and I'm really hoping that this warming trend is going to change the habits of these fish and turn them on a little bit. We've been on the lake now for about 3 weeks. The first weekend we came out on about 2 inches of ice, and there was about 6 or 7 fellas, and we had, at the end of the day, we had close to 30 northern. Up to the biggest one we had was 12 pounds. And you couldn't keep the flags from flying. And came out the next day, fished for 5 hours, never had a tip-up. So,
well, you're talking about the flags up and the tip-ups. Why don't we go out? You say we're going to put a few more in?
yeah, in the wintertime out here, you're allowed to fish with 3 lines each, which in the summertime, you're only allowed to have 2 lines. So Cliff and I have our lines in, so we might just as well go out and get a couple more in for you.
Good.
And we'll show you how they work. Set your tip up out here and put a couple more lines in the water.
Now, Russ, I know that typically you have to auger out a hole here.
Great.
And you're only picking this, so this must be...
This is an old hole that we had used yesterday. Just have chopped it out yet this morning. We've got about 8-10 inches ice here, and to chop through with a chisel like this will take a guy about 10 minutes. We do have an ice auger to do this, gas-powered auger, which is quite handy.
There we go.
Nothing like a nice sharp chisel. Skim all that ice out here.
What kind of tip-ups are these that you're using?
Well, these are Beaver Dam tip-ups, they're called. They're made down Beaver Dam, which is just about 25 miles south of here. And the fellow that invented these has got himself a gold mine.
Day like today now, is this icing back up very fast?
Well, they'll skim over a little bit, but a couple, 2-3 days ago, guy'd have to come out about every 15 minutes to chop, 15-20 minutes to chop the holes off. Because it would freeze up fast, but on a warm day like today, it's not too bad. The basic principle set behind this tip-up is you've got a spool with your line on it on the bottom here, and this cylinder here is filled with some type of grease. So it won't freeze up on you, the best thing about it. Once the spool hits the water, you've got a the line will come off very freely. Basically what you do is, first we've got to find our depth. And what you do is take a chunk of lead like this, a little clipper on it, and just hook it right on the line there. And we've got to get our depth. Let her go all the way down to the bottom. And here again, most of the tip-ups that we set up, I like to use about a foot to 18 inches off the bottom. So when you find your depth, you go 2 times the length of that spool, and that'll put me about 1 foot off the bottom. Then I've got a little alligator clip here that we clip on our line, so every time you catch a fish, you don't have to reset your line. All you have to do is wind the spool up to the clip, like so, and you set your flag down. using a golden shiner out here for the northern, and the bigger the better. We've got some pretty good bait here. There's the bait we're using there. It's not native to the lake, but it's probably the best northern bait money can buy for Green Lake. You give them a hook right through the top dorsal fin, and there again you want to get a good bite on it, but you don't want to dig it way down deep in the body and kill it. You want that minnow to be as lively as possible down there. Then it's just a matter of letting the bait go back down to the depth that you've got. And he does all the rest of the work. That's when we can go back and sit in the nice warm shack. And I'll show you what happens when we get a fish on here.
You hope.
I'll show you the principle right here. You've got your spool set down in the water, and a fish is going to come and bite that minnow. And the flag is set on the little trip wire here. And it's just a matter of the fish pulls the line, the spool turns, and the flag flies up. When you've got a fish on, you can usually see, we set the tip up fairly close to the shack, and you can watch that the minnow is pulling that out right now. But when a fish is on it, it'll be going like crazy. And you can always tell when you've got a fish going. But these fish very seldom will, especially on a good-sized minnow like this, they won't usually take it and gobble it right down. When you get a flag, you've got to go out there and give them a little bit of time, let them swallow that bait. Usually 30 seconds to a minute will time them out and give them a good chance to get that bait in their belly.
Okay. Well, so we're going to put out a few more?
Yeah, we'll set a couple more back up in a little bit shallower water here.
All right.
And I think we'll get close to.
And it's just a matter of sitting and waiting, huh?
That's the name of the game.
Well, Russ, I think a guy can really get spoiled standing around in here.
Yeah.
Nice warm shanty.
to fall asleep here before too long. I think maybe what we'll do is been picking up some whitefish out here, some Cisco's. Maybe we'll go outside and take a jig in one of these holes and see if we can come up with one of them.
All right.
We're going to be using a little bit different type of setup on this. Now these fish are just hitting a plain jig like this, and the guy doesn't even need any live bait on it. So it's just a matter of dropping this down the bottom and working it a little bit harder, a little bit, jerking it a little bit harder. And we'll get him down below there once to see what's going on. When one doesn't bite, you got to try something else, I guess.
Just hitting a plain hook, huh?
Right. Well, these whitefish are in spawning now, and there's big schools of them down there. So they are quite easy to catch. There are big numbers of them. This is just more of a jerking action than the way we work that Rapala inside. This is a type of fishing where you're not gonna guaranteed to catch one either. It's they'll come in and they'll be out and moving around a lot. Sometimes you'll catch them 4 or 5 one right after another, and then you'll wait a half an hour before one comes in again.
All right.
There. That's what they look like.
Well, there's one for us.
Yeah. Should have started doing this an hour ago. Yeah, fish. So we better get them down there and see if we can get another one right away.
Russ, what about these whitefish now that we're catching? As far as eating them now, is this the same as a lot of your other type of fish? Like
Well, the whitefish, most of the guys out here will smoke them. I guess they're real good smoked. And another way to prepare them is a lot of these fish boils that you that you may have been to up in Door County. They have a lot of them where they boil them out over an open fire. And the whitefish is a very good fish to prepare that way. As far as pan frying them, they're not that good to cook up like a walleye or a northern would be. But they are quite tasty smoked. That's what most of the fellows do with them out here is smoke them. There's another one.
Well, it's nice to throw these right out on the ice, huh?
Yeah, they'll throw it up right away here.
But we're having more success with this than the northerns and the walleyes than anything else, huh?
Something's got to bite, I guess. So you got 2 quick ones and now nothing again.
Yeah, because you gave the rod to me.
Sure. Oh boy. Here. Hey. There's a flag. Okay. I'll have it again. We'll see if we can get this out of the water here. Just let him sit there a minute. Make sure he's on there. You go ahead and hang on to that clip.
What do you do now, Russ?
Well, you gotta give him time to eat the bait.
You get there.
Most of the time, he'll just grab hold of it and hang on to it momentarily.
Could it just be gone right now?
It could be gone. There's always that possibility. They can get that minnow off of there without getting to the hook. And they do it. Maybe we'll just feel them out here once and see. The line is straight out to the side, so there is a good chance that there's a fish on here. Yeah, there he is. There's our first one.
All right.
Not a big one, but he's a pretty nice one. Be a good eater. That must be the 11 o'clock run right there. Well, we should probably get this baited up then and drop back down there, huh?
Or they hit that ice and they just
Yeah, they
stiffen right up on you, huh?
don't last long once they're out of the water. Go back and get another minnow. If they come back to the shack.
Well, 1 down, 5 to go.
Yeah, right. Sure. First fish of the day. First northern of the day.
Yeah. That wasn't bad. Wasn't a real big one, but
Yeah, why don't you drop that back down and see if we can catch us another one of these.
I still got to catch myself a whitefish here, Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one.
on there. Sure. Put him up there, let's grab him. Didn't lose him, did you? Oh, there he is. Okay. There's another one.
Throw him in a bucket with our other ones, huh?
Yeah. They're all about the same size, too.
Well, you say that these are spawning now?
Yeah. They're getting ready to spawn. They may have, about a week ago, I know they were ready to. They might have spawned already.
Well, you got 2 and I got 1.
Yeah. I'm still ahead of you.
Of course, you're supposed to be the pro, so I guess you're
Right.
entitled to catch more than me.
I didn't have to drive as far, though.
Well, I tell you, when we were out here in the summertime, I don't think there was as many people out here on boats as there are out here ice fishing, and yet you'd think that, the ice fishing would be less popular.
Well, I think the biggest thing now is the unemployment rate. Got a lot more fishermen on. Today being a holiday, too. The weekends are always bad. Holidays are very congested.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see this many people in the summertime. I guess everybody's working in the summer. And a lot of this is a very recreational or resort area, and the summertime is when everybody's busy, and in the wintertime a lot of the guys get their unemployment, and this is what they do all winter, sit up and hope the flags fly.
Well, you know, it's not really too bad because being inside the shanties and as warm as it is.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be able to stand outside. The shack is good for the below zero weather, but weather like this, you gotta get out and get a little sunlight and a little fresh air.
Yeah. Well, all we need is one more, huh?
It'd be nice.
And I'll match you up here. We get a few flags to fly.
Yeah.
Lowered.
There's one. Let me get the gap one. Go ahead and walk her. Going?
Oh, it looks like it's running a little bit here.
Okay, let's hold for a second. See what happens here.
Slow down.
Yeah. Why don't you pick him up once and just tighten the line up and see if he's there or not. It looks like the line is pretty much straight down. This one might be an educated one, as we call them out here. Feel anything?
It feels like it's tugging on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's mouthing it.
We'll just drop the line and we'll let him have a couple seconds there and see if he takes it or not. Well, let's see what we got here now. Yeah, looks like he outsmarted us.
Yeah, I don't think we got anything on here, Russ.
Oh well, can't catch them all.
Shouldn't have let me handle it then. I probably would have gotten them.
Just one of those educated ones, that's all. Yeah, you still got your minnow on there, but he's chewed up. Well, we'll drop him back down there and maybe he'll be dumb enough to come back again.
Yep. No, that's too bad. Could you use one more?
Yeah.
Well, Russ, I think that this is, you know, we might not have done all that well catching a lot of fish, but
Well, you got enough for
exciting
dinner.
being out here.
Yeah, it's a different type of fishing, that's for sure. And the guys got to have a lot of patience with this ice fishing because it's in the summertime when the fish aren't biting, you can move to another spot. Out here, if you want to move to another spot, you got a lot of work ahead of you, chopping a new hole and finding a new area. And
Yeah.
it's you're pretty well stuck in one area when you ice fish, and it's definitely not as good as the open water fishing, but it can be. We catch a lot of big fish out of here.
Well, we didn't do as well as what you did for us this summer when we went fishing.
That was a
out
good
here,
time out there.
But what?
You're a cat fisherman here.
Well, you didn't need to bring that up again.
Come on now, let's see you catch one more out of here.
Russ, I gotta get one more check.
All right, you guys, I got some brats on.
Brats on?
Yeah, that sounds mighty inviting.
I think so.
Here we
Why
are.
don't we wrap things up here and go in there and get something to eat?
Go ahead and crank that line out of the water here.
Well,
Thanks,